Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fabulous, fantastic, and amazing episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V, and thanks for watching. So the Total Film magazine, I guess, has released some new photos from Man of Steel. It has Amy Adams as Lois Lane and Henry Cavill as Superman, looking all Alex Rossi on the cover, and there's lots of words all over it. But I guess there's also a cover out there that someone has fixed up with all the words off of it. It looks really, really great. And of course, on the cover it says, "It's time for a change, Man of Steel." And what that refers to, of course, is the change from one franchise to another. A lot of people are still contending that because Zod is in this and because it's Superman again, that there's going to be an obvious connection to the Donner films, and that we're doing another rehash and that we're seeing the same thing. And it seems to me, through everything I've read and a lot of the pictures I've seen from the set, that this is absolutely not a rehash. It's not the same story told again. Even though it's Zod, these are villains that you see on and on. In the comics, you see the Joker time and time again fighting Batman. You see Lex Luthor with his schemes time and time again. Brainiac, Metallo, they all continue to come back. The Penguin surfaces over and over. All these villains are a thorn in the hero's side, going on and on and on. Zod is a little bit of a different animal, because once you defeat him in the story, you need to put him in a place like the Phantom Zone, or take his powers away, or do something to him so he can't be a threat again, because he's much more dangerous than the rest of these guys. But the weird thing about the picture to me is that there's been a lot of complaints that the suit is very dark and dim and not bright. And looking at a lot of the pictures, it either looks like they've been color touched, or they are much brighter than it looks in some of the shots that we've seen. So that leads me to believe that some people who are saying that the film's going to be color finished when it's done filming, because on film these uniforms and things look a little duller, look a little darker, but that they computer image them, or they re-brighten them, or they retouch them in the end to make them look the way they want to. That makes me think that they wouldn't put out all these photos where the uniform is super bright and blue and red if it wasn't going to be that way in the film, because that's very misleading, and it doesn't, they want it to look the same way. They're trying to advertise the film that you're going to see, so they don't want you to come in and go, "That doesn't look like what you've been showing me all this time." So I'm really starting to think that the bright red and blue is going to be what we see on screen. I don't have proof of that, but a lot of these publicity photos and a lot of what I'm seeing makes me think that that's going to be the case. The other thing that I thought that's bothering me a little, and I hate that I'm bothered by it, because in most of the shots, Henry Cavill looks fantastic. He looks a little bit beefy, not super big. They're still kind of going for the tall, lanky, long, kind of college basketball player Superman, with Brandon Routh, with Henry Cavill, with Christopher Reeve in the original series. They were all kind of long, lanky, skinny guys, and they bulked up a little bit. Henry Cavill probably the most. Brandon Routh and Christopher Reeve all bulked up to an extent. But I don't feel like we've had a Superman that is really muscular and big like Superman should be. And maybe, it's kind of like there was a Mary Jane comparison done, where a model with red hair sat on the couch in the same way that Mary Jane from a cover of Spider-Man was sitting, and she had the same posters behind her, and she had it set up the same way, and it looked really cool. But when you compare them, you see that, once again, comic book proportions, especially for women, are much further out of the realm of a realistic reality than what we can actually meet. I mean, Mary Jane in that picture looks like she, minus the breasts, looks like she has the body of a 9-year-old. I mean, her waist is this thin, and it goes up, and then she's got these breasts, and her legs are, she's just very, very, very tiny. And there are petite women, but I don't know that I've ever seen any that have proportions like that. And the model did a great job. I love the photo the way it is, but she's a real woman doing the photo as opposed to a comic book drawing, and I think that might be what I'm seeing with Superman. You know, he's this big, bulky guy with a truck for a chest and, you know, big arms, and we're looking at human beings doing what human beings can do. Now, yes, there are Lou Ferrignos and there are Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think Superman's more of an Arnold Schwarzenegger build than he is a Lou Ferrigno, but he is much bigger than most of these guys that have played him. Dean Cain probably had the heaviest build, which was my favorite look in that uniform, because it was closest to me. Whether you like his acting or not, whether you like how he looks, whatever, I think his build and his natural muscles were the best. But Henry Cavill, I don't know, his neck looks really long, and you know, as I'm looking at it on my desktop here, I have a Alex Ross Superman Forever statue where he's tearing open the shirt and he has the glasses in his hand. His head is this way. The Henry Cavill shot on the cover here almost looks like they're kind of mimicking that to an extent. I'd like to see a cover with Henry Cavill on a magazine or something in a Clark Kent suit doing that exact pose. That would be kind of cool. Another photo leaked out, and I think it's since been taken down because it hasn't been officially released, of Lois and Clark, Henry Cavill, and Amy Adams sitting in front of a window at a conference table. And Henry is in a work uniform. He's in his office clothes. He's in a suit, but he doesn't have glasses on. And this brings up another interesting point that I've heard people talking about. Will Clark Kent don glasses? And I'm thinking, my thinking has been kind of revolving around this for a while, that it'll probably be a little like Casino Royale, which was the relaunch of the Bond franchise, where things start to come together throughout the film, and at the end, he finally says, Bond, James Bond, and the music plays, and where those things weren't in place at the beginning, and they start to fall into place at the end. It's very possible that maybe Lois is in on the identity from the beginning, and maybe she kind of helps him to establish his identity, kind of like they did in Smallville, but he doesn't have the glasses yet, and it's an idea he comes up with later at some point during the film, because someone did mention that in the Comic-Con footage we do see him take off glasses when he goes into an elevator or something like that. So it looks like there are glasses in the film, so I'm waiting to see exactly a shot of him with glasses or when that's going to happen, but they might be saving that as a little Easter egg or a little thing that they're going to have us be delighted about toward the end of the film. But I'm liking these photos. I'm getting more and more excited. We're going to have more as time goes on, and it's a great time to be a Superman fan. Thanks, everybody, and remember, always look up in the sky.